garden where I honor the hope in me. Healthy foods equals healthy kids. Giving back to my community where growing justice in a natural way. Making a difference every day in the big, big garden. Meet me in the big, big garden.
Hello, and welcome to the Big Gardens Farm to School program. My name is Miss Stephanie. Today's lesson is all about square foot gardening and companion planting. So in this lesson, you're going to learn about how to start a square foot garden and how to sort out companion planting. So let's get started. So first, we're going to come to our garden bed and we're going to mark out a square foot spacing in our garden space. Square foot gardening is making squares 1 foot on each side throughout your garden bed. We're gonna need a few simple tools: a hammer, a ruler, some twine or yarn or string, scissors, nails, a trowel, and some labels for the plants in your garden. First, you want to take your ruler and measure out 1 foot. A ruler is 1 foot long or 12 inches. So we're going to measure 1 foot sides of our square along our garden bed. Take your nail and your hammer and hammer the nail into the side of the garden. Make sure you're doing this with an adult or caregiver so they can make sure you're safe. Going to measure these nails out the whole length of the garden bed.
Big, big garden. Meet me in the big, big garden.
So now we'll use the string and the scissors to create all 4 sides of our squares. You'll simply tie one end of the string to one nail and then tie the opposite end of the string to the other. Watch me.
Welcome to the big garden where I honor the hope in me. Healthy foods equals healthy kids. Giving back to my community where growing justice in a natural way. Making a difference every day in the big, big garden. Meet me in the big, big garden.
So now that all of our squares for our square foot garden are ready, it's time to plant. Now before we started this video lesson, I prepared our soil in our garden by using a broad fork, spreading some compost, and raking it smooth. If you'd like better instructions about how to prepare your garden bed, check out our video lesson about how to prepare your garden bed. So now that we have our squares, it's time to plant. Now with square foot gardening, you can plant a certain amount of a plant in 1 square. Take this cauliflower, for instance. It likes to have 1 square all to itself. So we're only going to plant 1 in 1 square. Use your trowel to dig deep enough to fit all of this soil inside your garden bed. Take your plant out of the pot. By squeezing each side, turning it upside down. And now you're ready to plant. So once you've planted your plant, make sure that you make a label for it so that other people know what you've planted. We planted cauliflower. Now let's plant some kale. Kale doesn't mind having a buddy in its square. So we can plant 2 kale plants in 1 square. Don't forget your label. Now let's talk about companion planting by playing a game of hopscotch. Companion planting is all about planting 2 types of plants next to each other that will either help them taste better, drive away bad insects, or attract good insects like our pollinators. So to help us remember what plants like to be planted together, we're gonna play a game of hopscotch. For this game, you're gonna need a piece of chalk. You're going to need your companion planting guides, and you can use a ruler if you wanna make sure you make some nice, neat squares, but you can also use your arm as a measuring tool or your hands. So let's get started by drawing our hopscotch game board.
Meet me in the big garden.
Now we're gonna fill in our squares with different fruits and vegetables that like to be planted in the garden together. You can draw them in each square, anywhere you want.
Meet me in the big garden.
So now that you have your hopscotch board down and you've filled it in with vegetables and fruits, now you'll take a rock or a stick, something kind of heavy that you can toss onto the board, and whatever plant it lands on, that's the card you pull. Then, to get across the hopscotch board, you can only jump on that card's companion plants. Cabbage. Cabbage's companion plants are Swiss chard, kale, tomatoes, spinach, and Brussels sprouts, and broccoli. So, tomato, Swiss chard, and spinach. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kale. So jump wherever you'd like. I made it. And that's it. Keep playing until you've done the companion plants for every fruit or vegetable. Well, thank you so much for joining me in this lesson on square gardening and companion planting. I hope you had a great time. Make sure you get the lesson plan so that you can have these cards and a pack of sidewalk chalk and play companion planting hopscotch with your friends and family. Thanks. See you next time.
Garden.